Hello, noobs. This is your boy Draccul. Okay, so I'm doing KVK 3. This is the Scene Conquest, and this is the season limits. So all these commanders you see right here is what you can use, right? And this is the equipment you can use. So we're not going to talk about the equipment right now, but we are going to talk about commanders. And this is for free to play. What commanders do you need to be working on? As far as legendary and epic, and of course your advanced and your elite. So first things first, before we actually get into that, I want to talk about so you joined, you downloaded on your phone, your laptop, wherever, and you start playing Rise of Kingdoms. What you need to do before you even do that, hopefully you're watching some YouTubers YouTube videos on Rise of Kingdoms, like Jinsuke, Chisco, Dracotian, or any of them. What's this legendary Ronnie? All the guys, Shinsu, Redline, all these guys. They all have videos on how to play. If you're not doing that, let's hope that you're looking it up on the internet to see what is it all about and all that, right? So we're hoping that you do that. Most players don't. But the one thing that I always get asked is, what should I be working on? What should I be working on? And even now, and what brought this up, my friend, he's in PL 73. His name is Dre. Well, I call him Dre. I'm not going to put him out more than that. He lives in Portugal. He's a young guy. He's still in school. But he always asks me. He asked me the other day. We were talking about it, and he goes, "What should I be working on?" And he's working on his YSG, and he's in KVK 3, and he's still working on YSG. He has Alex. His Richard is not where it needs to be. He wants to get his YSS where max expertise and maxed out, level 60 and stuff. Because you know what, and I have been thinking about this for a long time. And all these YouTubers, they say, they tell you what you need, what you don't need, which is good. What you should be working on. But to me, I think the reality is those are good suggestions and stuff like that. But my friend, he doesn't spend no money. Like I say, he's still in school. He's not working. Or if you are in school, if you are working, but you're not putting any money. So what should a free-to-play player do? What should it be working on? So we're going to talk about in the concept of each one. So we're going to talk about pre-KVK 1. You new to the kingdom. What do you need to do? Well, first of all, and we're going to discuss this before we get on here. Let's talk about exactly which civilization you should be working on, or you should have. So let's talk about this. And I'm not going to talk about Rome. I'm not going to talk about Britain. I'm not going to talk about France or Vikings. But we are going to talk about China. Now you can do two. You can do this is my suggestion. This is my opinion. Okay, so you can do whatever you want, but this is my opinion. If you're going to say you got online, you saw a YouTube video, and you want to play Rise of Kingdoms, what are the civilizations you should go for? Well, in my opinion, you should get China first, or go straight to and pick Germany. This is my go-to. Now, if you choose China first, it's because you want to get Sun Tzu, right? And then you'll get increased troop defense by 3%, action point recovered by 5%, and building speed by 5%, which is good. You need all that. And you'll get Sun Tzu. And then once you have him, eventually you'll get one of these. Let me show you real quick. Oops, that's not what I want to show you. Let me show you. You're going to get one of these. Eventually you're going to get one of these. And let me show you. You're gonna get one of these. Civilization Exchange. You will get one of these in the early on. I don't know what city hall level you'll get it, but eventually you'll get one of these. If you do get one of these and you start out with China, which is good, you might want to consider switching over to Germany, and this will increase your cavalry attack, your troop training speed by 5, and action point recovery. And the reason I choose Germany is because you need to train a lot of troops. Now, granted, China will give you building speed by 5%, which is good. But you know what can give you that? There's runes. And you probably won't be able to get the runes until those holy sites are available, or until your alliance captures one. But that's neither here or there. In my opinion, you should get China and then move to Germany, because you're going to be training a lot of troops. This is my opinion for a free-to-play player. Eventually, you're training troops. That's besides building buildings and besides increasing your technology. What civilization you should need? Point blank, Germany, because it's all about troop training between KVK between the beginning of the early game, which is pre-KVK 1, going into KVK 3, right? Now, I started out as Japan because I like Japan. It had nothing to do with what they was offering. It's because I like Japanese culture and all this stuff. That's the reason I started with Japan. And then when I saw a couple videos, and I saw Chisco, he goes, yeah, you need Germany. So you know what? I switched to Germany. So all my accounts, they're Germany, and I haven't switched back because I'm constantly training troops. Okay, so that's one, right? So let's go back to this. These are all the commanders you need from KVK 1 through KVK 3. These are all the ones available. Now, this one, what's it Tutien? This one right here. So going from Caesar, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see where Mina, underneath Mina, that's what's at the end. You'll get her if you're in the top alliance after KVK 2. That's the commander you should win. All right, so and see under Khan, you see Lubu. You won't be able to get him. He came in a bundle, so he's unavailable to you. Under Frederick, see next to El Cid, you see Hannibal. Don't worry about Hannibal because you have to purchase him. See Mina next to Richard, between Richard and Martel, that's Mina. If you're free to play, don't worry about her about him because you would have to purchase him. So these three are those two are unavailable to you. Actually, these three: Lubu, Mina, and Hannibal. Don't worry about them because they're not available for you because you actually have to purchase them. So we only talk about the rest: Caesar, Freddy, Khan, YSG, Cao Cao, Richard, Martel, Il Cid, Cleo, Saladin, Mehmed, Mulan, Woodstock, Genghis Khan, Charlemagne, Alexander, Ethelfled, Tomyris, Edward, Sunduk, Yoshida, and that new Viking one, I forgot his name, but the Viking guy. Then you go into your epics. You have Sun Tzu, Herman, Kusunoki, Scipio, Joan, Unjimundak, Boudica, Pelagius, Lohar, Belisarius, Baibars, Osman, Kira, Matilda, Doshian, Bjorn, and the new one, the new epic commander, something of whatever her name is. What's her name? Let's go back. I forgot her name. So I have her, right? Where she? This one, which is Queen of Tesmar of Georgia. Okay, and we're not gonna go over the other ones, the elite and the advanced. You will get those. So, and you're asking me. So we talked about the civilization, right? You should ultimately have Germany. What is the other thing that you need? Well, let's talk about this. So this is you can get this, and I'll make sure you have. Make sure you have it at the end of the video. These things that I'm going to show you. So you can look at this one, right? It talks about the Kingdom Age, Mightiest Governor, and then there's the Wield, and the Kingdom Age for the Wield. So that's all that. So let's get a better look. So you can look at this one, or you can look at this one. This is for the wheel, and this is Mightiest Governor, right? So at the beginning, when you start the wheel, this is who you're going to get. So when you're so we'll talk about the wheel first. So when your kingdom is 38 days old, right? When your kingdom is 38 days old, you will get Richard. You need to get Richard. The ones with the gold heads in between these here, in between these, so it's a universal. So you can play those to get what you want, but you can get those between silver keys and blue keys. I mean, gold keys and silver keys. So whoever appears first on day 24, you can go ahead and play that and get them if you want to get them sooner, whoever they are. I think it's Sarka. I don't remember. But on day 38, you need to do your best to collect all the gems that you have, or if you're actually farming gems, or if you're doing everything you can to get gems, and you're free to play, right? You need to unlock Richard. When you get to day 94, Kingdom Age, this is your Kingdom Age. When your kingdom is 94 days old, you need to try to get YSG, right? But here's the kicker. The end game for you is to get Khan, Alex, and Edward. You need to get these three commanders. This should be your goal for KVK 2, because in KVK 2 you're going to need your Edward, and you're going to need your Alexander and your Khan. These three commanders are going to be awesome for KVK 2 and KVK 3. So remember that. So this is the thing that people don't tell you. So and Edward Woodstock is good for KVK 2. So, but here's the kicker: he's only good for KVK 2. Alexander is good for KVK 2 into KVK 3, and you will be still using him. Khan is good for KVK 2 and going into KVK 3. You will still see him used in KVK 4 and as well as Alexander, but there's so many new commanders out there that are cavalry and infantry that and including archers, because Edward Woodstock is an archer, that are better than these three. But you'll still see these on the field. But let's go back. What do I need for pre-KVK 1 and for KVK 1? You're going to need a Richard, and you're going to need to get your YSG. So that's what you need. But here's the kicker. Richard is useless after KVK 3. By KVK 3, you shouldn't even be using Richard. His value will diminish. YSG will be continue to be good, but not as primary as secondary. And so with Richard, you can get away if you can get him to 5111, right? 511. So let's go back to my account. And this is my main account. This is my Chewbacca account. This is my big account. This is my first big, and the one that I'm working on. So let's go look at my Richard. Let's look at his skills. His skills are 5211. I did not get Richard till KVK 2 because I did not know before KVK 1 when Richard showed up that I needed to get Richard. I didn't know that. So, but he loses value, right? Not been through KVK 1. I got him in KVK 2. I didn't, and I got him to 5. He was 511 way back then. At the end of KVK 2, I think it was, or after KVK 2, he finally became 511. But I saw another video say he loses value, and it's true, he does. There's better commanders than he is. Trajan's better than him. Guan is better than him. Alex is better than him. Martel, if you can get Martel 5511, he's way better than Richard. So I got him. I do use him, right? I do fight with him and stuff, but I don't waste my gold heads on him, right? Because he's useless. Because you need to get Alex. Alex, Martel, and Richard are that's a good 3 primary commanders for KVK 1, KVK 2, and going into KVK 3. But beyond that, Richard's useless. So don't waste your go heads on Richard. Just get him to 5111 and he's usable, or get him to 5511, and after that then you stop. You don't need to go any further. All right, so that's Richard. And then when you do get your YSG, right, this is what you need them for. Now, my friend, he's putting on his go hits because he wants to max out. I mean, expertise YSG. That means he wants to get him 5555, which is great if you're able to grind and get your go heads and put them into YSG. But here's the kicker: you need to do that all before the end of KVK 1. If you have not expertise your YSG by the end of KVK 1, literally going through all of pre-KVK 1, go through all of KVK 1, and once KVK 1 ends and you're in the off season going to KVK 2, you need to stop working on your YSG. And if you have picked up your Alexander the Great, you need to be working your Alexander the Great. Right? And if you got Edward of Woodstock, if you picked up Edward of Woodstock, then you need to start using your Edward of Woodstock. If you are cavalry and you have Khan, you need to be using your Khan. You need to be putting all your go hits in Khan. So after KVK 1 has ended, completely ended, and you're in the off season, going to the off season before KVK 2, you need to stop working on your YSG. So wherever he is, if he's 5511, then you're doing great. If he's 5111, that's fine. If he's 553 or 552, 554, 1, whatever, he's good. Or if he's 5551, he's good. But wherever you are on your YSG, he needs to be at least 5111. It's better if you have him 5511. I strongly suggest you get your YSG to 5511 by the end of KVK 1, because after KVK 1, you need to have gone your get ready to get your Alex, and get ready to get your what was the other one? Your Edward or Woodstock. Get ready to get him if you're an archer, or get ready to get Khan if you're cavalry. See, these are the 3 that you need to get. So that's what I'm talking about, your legendary commanders. But we're talking about before KVK 1 starts. What do you need? Well, you'll be using a lot of epics is what you need. And these epics, Sun Tzu, you're gonna need your Sun Tzu, you're gonna need your Kusunoki. You're gonna need your Scipio, you're gonna need your Pelagius, you're gonna need your Belisarius, Osmond, Joan of Arc, Herman, Ujimundak, Baibars, if you get Doshian, Lohar, Boudica, Kira, Bjorn, Matilda, and Queen of Tamar of Georgia. Right? So let's go back to Boudica. Right? So what do I want to show you? How do I guess those are the skills, right? I forgot where you get Boudica from. I think you get Boudica from because I know you get Kira from where's it at? She's called the Red Charlemagne. You get her from Ceroli, right? There we go. You get her from Ceroli. So, but I don't even have her. So when you get into Ceroli, you'll that's where you get her. And I think you get Boudica from either the Tavern Expedition or the Universal Sculptures. I thought you got it from somewhere else. Well, anyways, that's where you get her. So let's go back. So we're talking about pre-KVK. So whatever commanders you get, you need to get them from gold keys and silver keys. So let's go to our recruit. And we'll go here. You'll be getting gold keys and silver keys. So let's go to the gold keys. You need to be collecting a lot of gold keys to get these commanders. So you're not even going to be getting this here soon. So you'll be getting your Julius Caesar, Frederick, your Cao Cao, Martel, Il Cid, Cleopatra, Sunduk, Ishida, Mehmed, Mulan, and Ragnar. That's who you're going to get, right? This is all who you can get. And then you go into your silver keys. And you will get Sun Tzu, Herman, Kusunoki, Scipio, Joan of Arc, Ujimundak, Boudica, Pelagius, Belisarius, Baibars, Osmond, and Matilda of Flanders, and Bjorn, and Queen of Tamar, Georgia. So you need to be grinding to get on these events to get gold keys and to get silver keys so you can get these commanders. And you're gonna say, well, okay, that's fine. Who do I use? Well, it depends who you get. If you have any of these epic commanders, right? You know what? And let's go to one of my accounts that I'm not using. So let's switch accounts. Let's see who I have. These are accounts that I'm not using. So we'll pick my highest one that I'm not using, which is this one, right? I stopped playing this one, so we'll go to this one. This is Scooby-Doo. I brought it from another alliance. I was going to use this as my war bank, as a true farmer, but I don't have time to do that anymore. So let's talk about this account. This is a 5 mil account. I mean, sorry, 7 mil account, and we'll look at what commanders. So let me get all this out of the way. So right, let's collect all this. So let's grind. Let's look to see what we have on this account. And so he only has T3s. Well, no, he got T4s. So this is what we're doing. And see, even this account, see, this account is Spain, because I wanted to get Pelagius. So I wonder if I can switch it. I don't think I had the time to switch it, or if I did, I didn't even get it. No. So, but you do need to be using your keys to get whatever commanders you can, right? So I got her. This is how you get Sarka, right? Let's open some silver keys. We need to open a few of these, and we just get when you get the green ones and the blue ones, commanders, the elite and the advanced, use them. But when you start getting epics, you need to switch. First things first, because you'll get a bunch of stuff. You'll get a bunch of commanders, and you need to switch as soon as possible. So okay, we did all that. So let's go to our commanders. This is who I have, right? Do not, if you have any of the green ones, if you have Dragon Lancer from the beginning, or City Keeper, or Marksman, you get Markswoman from the very, very beginning, and Centurion, sorry. Use these commanders until you get an epic to replace them. Right? Same thing for these. So say you get Calvary, say you get say you get Sun Tzu, you start with China, and then you use a couple keys, and you end up with Lancelot. You know what? He's your Calvary guy. Use him as Calvary, right? If you get Timon, you'll definitely get Timon. She was one of the first ones that I actually teased. If this is your archer, if you get her, use her as an archer until you get somebody better, until you get an epic archer that's better. You can use her as an archer, you can use him as a cavalry, you can use this guy as infantry, and you can use Centurion. He's your gatherer. But when you get the equivalent of your elite, or really your epic, you want to stop using them. Don't use them anymore unless they're secondary, and use them as nothing, because eventually you're gonna stop. You're not gonna put anything in him unless you have to. Don't put anything in these guys unless you have to. The only one you should be putting anything in is your Centron, because he's your gatherer. Same thing for your Lancelot, your Timon, right? Sarka and Genghis. From these four guys, you're gonna use them. This is your gatherer, this is your gatherer, and this is your gatherer. Use them for gathering. This is your archer. Unless you get an epic archer, use her. But once you get you an epic archer, stop using her. She's irrelevant. Don't use any of these. You need to be using Bybars as cavalry. You need to use Lohar he's your peacekeeper. So if you get him, you need to use him. If you get Boudica, you need to use her. She's peacekeeping. She's for barbs, right, and forts. Osmond is good. He's your leadership person. So if you manage to get him first, get him, and you're gonna want to expertise him, and you're gonna want to max him out. Scipio, he's leadership. You're gonna want to use him too, because he's pretty good. you'll be using him through KVK1 and KVK2 and possibly KVK3. Either by KVK3 you'll probably use him as secondary. Won't be primary. He'll be primary for KVK1 and possibly KVK2, right? But these guys, you can, if you manage to use buy bars for Calvary, you need to use them. If you need or Osmond, buy bars and Osmond, or Osmond and buy bars are a good combo, right? CPO is the beast, right? Matilda, she is good for defense if you use her, if you get her, but she's mainly your gathering, but you can use her for defense. Doshan, she's peacekeeping. If you get her, that's who you're going to use for barbs and barbed forts. She's like she's either like a Joan or an Ethelfled. If you get her, she's your gathering commander. Now Unji Mundak is good. He's a good infantry guy, and this might be your first garrison person that you have. So you use this guy for infantry and you use him for garrison. Joan, you're gonna want to expertise and max out. See, your cavalry guy. This is Belisarius. I love Belisarius. I use him more than any other of the epic ones. But Pelagius and Baibars are good. And who's the other one? Pelagius and Baibars. Those are your cavalry guys besides your Belisarius. You're gonna want to use those. Pelagius has a good punch, and Baibars has a good AOE. But my favorite is Belisarius, and he's the fastest. He has the mobility tree, so he's fast. And then your Herman, this is your another garrison commander that you can use, but he's also your archer. He is good. Kusunoki is your archer. He also does garrison. So you have 3 epic garrison commanders here. You have Kusunoki, you have Herman, and you have Unji Mundak, and you also can use Sun Tzu, and you can also use Pelagius. So these so you got 1, 2, 3, 4 commanders for garrison. Any of these will be real good. You can use Sun Tzu as primary, Unji Mundak as secondary, or vice versa. You can do for a long time I was using Sun Tzu and Pelagius for my garrison, right? But these are the commanders that you really need to be using. So whichever ones you get first, you need to max out and expertise your Pelagius, your Sun Tzu, your Kusunoki, your Herman, your Belisarius, your Joan, your Unji Mundak, your Doshian, your Scipio, your Osmond, your Boudica, Lohar, and Baibars. Right? So if you're doing cavalry and you say you got Pelagius and Belisarius, if you want speed, Belisarius is first and Pelagius you can put it secondary, or you can use Osmond or Scipio as secondary. You wouldn't use any of your archers as secondary, but I do recommend Osmond or Scipio because they will increase your troop count, so you'll get more troops, right? If you're going to be doing infantry, Sun Tzu's the best with a Joan, right? And your Scipio. Those guys are good. Osmond is good for that too. If you use Lohar, use him for just doing barbs, and use Boudica, Belisarius and Doshian to do your barb forts or your and your barbs. As for archers are concerned, Kusunoki and Herman are a good pair. You can also pair up with your Boudica and Kusunoki, or Herman and Kusunoki. It's great. So when you have your marches out there, you're not gonna have like 3 cavalry people or 3 cavalry marches, or you're gonna have a mix. You need to choose if you're gonna be cavalry, or you're gonna be infantry, or you're gonna be archer. Choose one, because that was the thing. You'll be training more of one than the others. You'll be training them all. But my suggestion is that you choose, right? And if you get your Richard, I strongly recommend a 5-1-1-1 Richard is fine. A 5-5-1-1 Richard is even better, and he's fine. Do not go any further than 5-5-1-1. Your Richard does not need to do that. If you want to expertise him or get him to 5-5-5-1, that is fine too. But you're wasting your go heads on Richard, right? You're free to play. You're not spending money. You need to do the best you can with what you have, and what you will probably have a lot of are these epic commanders. So that's what you need to concentrate on, and that's the good thing about it is they're all silver keys, right? And Bjorn is good. Where's my Bjorn? You know what? I don't even have Bjorn over here on this account, because he's still down here, right? I can guarantee you Bjorn is still down here. So I don't even have Bjorn yet. I don't even know how many. I don't even have any heads of his on this account. But he is good too. He is real good. So any combination of these epic commanders, you cannot go wrong. Sun Tzu with anybody. Sun Tzu primary with anybody is great. Kusunoki, if you're going to do archers, Kusunoki and Herman are the best combo. For cavalry, Pelagius, Baibars, and Belisarius, it does not matter which one's primary. If you have your Baibars Osman is a good pair, or vice versa. You can do it, actually be better that way for calves. For infantry, you can do Sun Tzu Osman, or Sun Tzu Scipio, right? That's a good one. Or Scipio Osman, or Scipio and Kusunoki are a good one for the talent trees, right? So that's who you need to be working on. So that's who I have, right? So let me do this real quick right here. I inherited this alliance, and I changed the name. But anyways, so that's who you should be working on. So let me get some of this stuff out of the way. If you want to get more technical, I don't actually know. I'm not even doing that. As far as your epic commanders, your legendary commanders, a 5-5-1-1 Richard or 5-1-1 Richard is fine. Do not go any further than that, because he will become not valuable for you in the good run. There's no value in him in the long run. You need to get Ethelfled. You need to expertise and get her to 60 as soon as possible. So Ethelfled will be awesome. Ethelfled, Kusunoki, Ethelfled, Sun Tzu, Ethelfled, Scipio, Ethelfled, Osman, Ethelfled, whatever needs to be, that's what you need to be using. So as soon as you get Ethelfled, you need to be using her. Cao Cao, he's not my favorite. If you manage to get Cao Cao, you need to get him to at least 5-5-5-1 to be useful, and we'll look at that. because he gets direct damage factor, attack reduction, march speed reduction. He is good. Damage bonus to barbarians, so he's good for barbarians. And then this is the reason why you want to get this to 5551. It's the cavalry march speed bonus and a cavalry attack bonus. You'll need that. If you manage to get this, you can go all the way here. He has healing factor and rage. So I mean, I'm not a fan of double C, but if you get him, he is good. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He's better than my Belisarius. He's the upgraded Belisarius. That's basically what it is, because they both have the same tree. So, and you should dump your talents. You should go here, right, and get here for your peacekeeping. You want to go to, where is it at? To march speed. So you want to go all the way here, right? You do want to get your swiftness, and you might also want to go to hasty departure. Right, hasty departure will get you get you quickly out of battle real quickly. So if you want to, when you're battling and you want to leave, this is when this will kick in. So do I have anything else? No. So this is the tree that you want, right? For if you want to do barbarians, you want to go to thoroughbreds, and you do want to go trophy hunter, and then you want to do march speed, and then you want to get up to here, or actually here, a cavalry speed, and then you want to do here. You also want to get these right here. You want to get them to about right there, and there, and this, and then maybe one there, maybe one there, and you may want to do one there. But that's what you would do for your Cao Cao. Martel, do not waste your gold keys on do not waste your gold heads on Martel. You want to save your gold heads for maybe Cao Cao. You'll get Mulan as well. Mulan, you will get her through gold keys as well. But she is good. She's like another Joan or another Ethelfled. So she's good. So you do want to get her to at least a 5551 or a 55. So let's look at hers. Actually, just a 5511 will do fine with her. If you do manage to get over here, you can probably go all the way to a 55. You expertiser, but a 55 Mulan will do you fine. Frederick. If you do get Frederick, don't spend anything on him. I know he's leadership, he's conquering. He'll probably be good for cities. If you plan to hit cities, then you probably would do real good with the Caesar. See, I don't even have Caesar over here. So yeah, you probably do better with the Caesar or Freddy. But if you're not going to be doing a lot of city hitting, don't waste. To tell you the truth, I think it's a waste to put anything on Caesar or put anything on Frederick, because after KVK1, you're not going to use them anymore. Right? You're not going to use your Freddy. You're not going to, and if you have El Cid, you can use El Cid as if you're going to be archer. El Cid Herman is real good. They're underutilized, but again, you'll get better commanders. So to tell you the truth, if you get an El Cid, I wouldn't even waste any go heads on El Cid either. In my opinion, do not use go heads on El Cid, Freddy, or down here, Julius Caesar. Don't waste your heads on him. If you do get Mehmed is actually good. He's underutilized. A Mehmed with the Osman or a Mehmed with your Scipio is actually good. Mehmed and Kusinoki. Mehmed is actually good. He's underutilized. for this reason, and I don't even have him. So let's look at his skills. He get direct damage factor is 1,150. That is awesome. Your additional damage factor goes, if you max him out, it will be 700. This is good, and he deals direct damage of front facing fan shape up to 5 targets. Damage factor 450. That's not bad, right? And then when you max out his second skill, choose list by this commander, gain 8% increased attack, and it deals an 8% extra skill damage. So you get 20 attack bonus, and skill damage is 20%. That is awesome. And then this is his passive skill, Faith. When troops led by this commander attack a city for normal attack, have a 10% chance to deal extra damage to garrison. So you can use this for garrison. Actually, it'll probably be better, instead of using El Cid or Freddy, to use Mehmed to attack cities with, or even Julius Caesar. For that matter, he gets a troop capacity bonus and rally army capacity bonus, which is 10 and 10. This is good, and then his expertise skill kind of increases everything else, which basically increases the first skill. So I strongly recommend Mehmed to put go heads in. I strongly recommend you do Mulan just to a 5-5-1-1 will be awesome. Your Cao Cao, if you manage to get Cao Cao, go ahead and get him to at least a 5-5-5. He's fine right there. You don't need to go any further than that, because those you'll get better commanders. And then, because what you're waiting for is to get your Alexander the Great, right? You're gonna want to get your Alexander the Great. You're gonna want to get your Saladin, and if you do manage to get Edward, you can get him to a 5-5 or a 5-1-1-1 or a 5-5-1-1. He'll be good, because they're if you're an archer, they're better ones. But Edward or Woodstock is real good for KVK 2 and 2 only. After that, he kind of loses his value. If you get Charlemagne, do not spend anything on Charlemagne. He is useless. He is useless. So don't spend anything. Tomyris will probably be one that you could spend all your go hits on. She's actually real good. So let's go back. So if you're pre-KVK 1 going to KVK 1, you need to get your Richard to a 5-5-1, either a 5-1-1-1, or your Richard to a 5-5-1-1. You can get him to a 5-5-5-1. He's actually good then too. But you know what? Do not waste your go heads on Richard. A 5-1-1 Richard is fine. A 5-5 Richard, a 5-5-1-1 Richard is just as fine. Do not spend any more than that. I don't recommend it. You're free to play. You need to save your go hits for the commanders that you'll be using that will give you value, right? Same thing for your YSG. See, I don't even have YSG. Yi Song, he is good. You will get extreme value if you expertise him to a 5-5-5-5. He is great. But you know what? There are better commanders that you'll be needing, whether you're cavalry, or an archer, or infantry, that you need to be spinning your go hits on. Okay, so a 5-5-1-1 YSG is fine. You can level him up later. Because you're free to play, you're not spending any money, you're grinding. You need to save for your infantry that you'll be getting, and that infantry commander will be your Alexander the Great. If you're going for calves, you're gonna do Genghis Khan and Saladin. You're gonna go after them. So that is great. You need to save them. If you're gonna do, or if you're an archer, you're gonna wait for Tomyris and what's his name, Edward. But you're not gonna spend that much on them. You got to think logically. The end game. You need to look at the future, because if anything, you need to max out or expertise all your epics, right? Because that's what I did. Let's go back to my main. And I'm slowly getting into to level 60, but on my main, all my epic commanders are expertised. Every single one except for Kira. And I don't need her, and she's not priority. But you can get better stuff from your Soroli than getting Akira. Okay, so but that's what I'm talking about. If we look at all my epics, and we'll start from the beginning. Expertised, 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 expertise, and I'm slowly working on my Joan of Arc. But she's never going to be primary. She just needs to be expertise. You need to put her behind a legendary commander, or if you get her expertise before pre-kvk, then you can use her primary. But she's a secondary commander, because when you go into kvk2, if you see a Joan of Arc primary, you're going to hit it. That's the first thing you're going to take out. If you see a YSG primary, you're gonna attack and get out. You see an Ethelflaed primary, you're gonna attack it. You want to get rid of them because they help the other marches. So those are the first things you're gonna hit. So because mine is a 5-5-1-1, and I'm not gonna do any more. I'm not wasting any more heads on him. And right now he has 17, and I wish I could take out of there. Ethelflaed, you're gonna get her expertise here through expedition. So the more you do on expedition, the better you're gonna get. And how do you get a lot of Ethelflaed? Is by doing all these right here. I'll show you. You start from the beginning, and this is the first one you'll end up doing. So these right here. When you get this one and this one, this is where you get a lot of your Ethelflaed. So you need to do as many of these as you can to get your Ethelflaed. And if I would have known that, my Ethelflaed would have been expertise a long time ago. And she's awesome. She has great value. Like I said, you can expertise her and get her all the way to level 60 at least. You need to have that first skill at 5. That's awesome. But after kvk1, all these primary commanders like your YSG, your Joan, and your Ethelflaed, eventually after kvk1, they need to be secondary commanders. It's point blank. So a 5-1-1 Richard is good. Mine is 5-2-1-1. Don't need to do any more than that. You're not going to get Miyamoto, so we're not going to talk about them. Ethelflaed, you need to expertise her and get her to level 60 as soon as possible. You need to get your YSG to level 60 as soon as possible. I wish I did not put any heads in him, and this is where I'm stuck. He's a 2-2-4-1. Don't need any. I wish I didn't. I wish I didn't put any heads in him, and I didn't know any better. If you do, just do the first skill. Just max out the first skill. Don't do any more than that. Your Cao Cao, I actually need to fix my Cao Cao, because he's good for Canyon, and he's good for Arc of Osiris. But I tell you the truth, I think a Cao Cao Belisarius is good, or a Belisarius Cao Cao is even better. But I don't even use them, and I don't plan to use them. So your Martel, he needs to be at least a 5-1-1-1 Try to get him. Do not spend any of your gold hits on him. He's a gold key commander. He's hard to get. I mean, I'm 5 days, over 500 days in, and mine is a 5411. That's fine. I just need to get him to level 60, and he's fine. And that's where he's going to stay. And the only reason I haven't done that is because I'm trying to get my Guan to level 60. So I'm putting all my stars on my Guan, because he needs to be level 60, and then I'm going to do my YSS. I need to get him to level 60. After that, I'm going to work on my Martel and my Alex. I need to get my Alex to level 60, so that's what I'm doing. But I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking KVK 4, right? But anyways, that's the way you need to be thinking. Don't waste your go hits on commanders that are not going to be relevant anymore, like your Richard. You know, just get him 511. He's fine. You don't need that. You're free to play. You don't have time to be wasting go heads on him. Don't waste your go heads on Martel either. He's good. Don't get me wrong, but you need to bust your butt to get your Alex. Right? You need to bust your butt to get yourself your Khan. Where's my Khan? Your Khan. You may want to get Edward, right? Those are the commanders that you'll be using a lot of and see a lot of for KVK2. So let's talk about KVK2. So that's your KVK1. You need to. It doesn't matter what epic commanders you have. You just need to get them expertise as soon as possible and get them to level 60 as soon as possible. If you're using infantry, you can use your leadership as secondary. You definitely want to have a Joan of Arc secondary to like your Scipio Joan, your Baibars Joan, or your Osman Joan, or Kusunoki Joan, or your Sun Tzu Joan, right? Do whatever you can on those. If you manage to get your Richard, do Richard Ethelfled or Richard Joan is just as fine. If you're going to use if you're going to get your YSG as primary, use YSG with Kusunoki secondary or YSG Joan, right? If you have Cao Cao, if you have double C, use double C with Osman or double C. Actually, double C Baibars or double C Pelagius is real good, or Belisarius is real good. It does not matter. Keep that together, right? If you manage to get manage to do Mehmed, I'd rather you use Mehmed over Ceasar. If you do manage to get Ceasar, just level up the first skill. That is fine. Use Mehmed, Ceasar to do city. The other commanders you do not want to use. Do not spin on Frederick or El Cid. Do not spin on those. You will not get Lubu, so don't worry about him. Ashita and Sundak. If you get Sundak, she's the one that's going to be gathering gold. So she gathers gold. If you do manage to get Constantine, get Constantine. He's a good for secondary. He's infantry. You can use him as primary for infantry. But he's good at 5511. After that, you don't need to spin any more heads on him. He's like a Richard. Constantine Richard 511 on either one of those are just as fine. And I think when I do start putting heads on my Constantine, I'm just going to get him 5511 and get him to level 60 when I get him. From what I understand, this guy Ragnar, he's all right. I don't think he's the best, but if you manage to get him his skills, just max out his skills. Actually, don't max out his skills. Just max out the first one. 5111 Ragnar is just as fine. Don't do any more of that. So let's go into KVK2. KVK2, you still have your Germany. For KVK2, you need to, if you're infantry, you need to get a 5511 Alex or a 5551 Alex, or expertise him. So a 5511, he's usable. At 5551, even better. totally expertise in him. You need to get him to level 60 for infantry. So you'll be using him as primary, and you can use Ethelfled as secondary, or you can use YSG. So a 5-5-1-1 YSG with a 5-5-1-1 Alex is good. In fact, I told my friend Dre that I bet you my Alex and YSG will beat your Sun Tzu YSG. And I did. It was a close battle. The only difference is my equipment may be a little bit better, but I know my technology is a little better. So technology equipment play a big deal about it. So you need to push on your technology and your equipment, right? So that's the thing. So if you're infantry, you need your Alex. If you're archer, you're gonna want to do your Edward Woodstock. So Edward Woodstock with your YSG or Kusunoki works great. If you're cavalry, you're gonna want to get your Genghis Khan. Where's your Genghis? You want to get Genghis Khan or Saladin. So let's go back to that. Let's go back to this. So after YSG, you need to get your Genghis Khan. And then Alexander. So you will get Genghis. If you get Genghis, that's great. He's not a big deal. He's a glass canyon. So, I mean, meaning that he's like Richard. Richard is slow. Genghis is slow. But they both have a powerful hit. So let's go to this one. This is your mightiest governor. So when you go in your mightiest governor, you will get, this is what you'll get. You'll get on your 11th day, you'll get your Caesar. I wouldn't waste anything, get your points that you need. If you want to be top 10, that's fine. You'll get Julius Caesar. If you manage to be number 1 through, was it anywhere between 1 and 10 where you get Caesar, that's fine, and just leave it at that. When you get into day 65, you'll get your Martel. Then you know what? Do your hardest to do your best to be in the top 10 so you can get your Martel. And he is awesome. You're gonna want to do your Martel, but do not spend your gold hits on him. When you get to day Kingdom Age 121, you'll get your El Cid. You know what? This is one that I will skip. I wouldn't waste my time with El Cid. He is underrated. If you have a Herman and El Cid, that's an unutilized combo right there. And you can use either one first, primary, or secondary. But I strongly don't recommend as a free-to-play to waste any time on your El Cid. When you get to Kingdom Age 177, you do want to get your Saladin, especially if you're cavalry. If you're not cavalry, don't even worry about this. Save all your time to get your Constantine, right? So what is this? So we go back over here. So see 121, 65, 177. So you get your Genghis, then you'll get your Saladin, right? And then you'll get your two. So you get your Alex at Kingdom Age 206, and then you'll get your Alexander at 233. That's who you need to be getting. So this talks about the same thing. This is just a better one. So I'll put these two underneath behind the video. So let's go back over here. So for KVK2, you're going to need your Alexander and your Genghis Khan and Edward if you have them. By then, you should have a lot of your epics expertise and to level 60. And by then, you should have your Matilda. When you get to KVK2, you need to have your gathering commander set. So your Matilda, your Queen of Telemar. Oops. Let me go ahead and do this real quick so we can finish talking about go back to here. You should already have your Sundak, right? You should have your Clio. You should have your Sundak. You should have your Ashita, right? You should have these commanders, and these commanders need to have. See, I need to finish it, but he's secondary. I don't even use him. I use Gaius. So let's go to my. So this is the talent tree you should have. Here, and here. And then, I need to get her on these attack stuff. But, I'll have all this, but you need to get here and here. All the way here, all the way here, and all the way here. Max those out. That's what you should have on all of your gathering commanders. And I've talked about this, not that. See? Here, here. Nothing else matters but that. This is first. This is primary. Here, here, and here. This is what you need to max out. So all your gathering commanders need to have this. So same thing here. Pow. See? And I don't have her. Well, that's not telling. I don't have hers because I'm starting hers because I wanted the rejuvenate for her because I'm using it for secondary. But all of mine. Oops, not skills. Trees. Bow. Talent trees. See? Talent trees. That's where they need to be. Anyways. And you're not be using any of the other ones. So a lot of your, for KVK2, all your epic commanders that you'll be using should be level 60 or expertise. As far as your legendary commanders that you should be using is your Alexander if you're infantry, Martel if you're infantry, and you'll be using your Richard. He'll be your third march or your secondary commander, and then your epics, which will be Sun Tzu or your Osman or your Scipio will be your third march. With your Joan, your YSG and your Ethelfled as secondary. If you're cavalry, you'll be using Genghis Khan, Cao Cao, with either Pelagius, with either Baibars or Belisarius as your third. With any of those as your secondary, and you'll be using same thing, Ethelfled, YSG, or Jones secondary, and you'll be using Osman secondary, and your Scipio secondary for any of those marches. You might want to use your Yuji Mundak as secondary as well. He has some good ones. You'll be using Docian as secondary. If you're infantry, you might want to use Born. He's good too. Bjorn is good for infantry as well. Let me throw that in there. And then if you're an archer, you should go for Edward of Woodstock. He'll be your primary. So Edward of Woodstock with your YSG, your Kusunoki and Herman, and those are your only two marches. Unless you split them up. If you have managed to get 3 marches, this is how your 3 marches should be. Edward of Woodstock, YSG, Kusunoki with Ethelfled, and Herman with either with Joan. You could use El Cid, but El Cid is you have to put go heads at him, so I wouldn't recommend El Cid. So that's just my opinion. And then when you get into KVK 3. If you manage to get Woodstock, you'll be using the same ones. So whatever you're using for KVK2, that's who you'll be using for KVK3. Except you need to try to get your Guan. You need to try to get your Season of Conquest commanders, because then everything changes. So yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. So let's go back and review basics. Whatever epic commanders you have, you need to max them out and expertise them as soon as possible. Richard just needs to be a 5-1-1 or a 5-5-1-1 and don't do any more than that. Your YSG, he is phenomenal. Great value. But he is fine as 5-5-1-1. I would stop there. Or a 5-5-5-1. Stop there. Do not waste any more goal heads on him. Expertise and max out your Ethelflaed as soon as possible. You will need her. Same thing for Joan of Arc. You don't need to get her to level 60. If you do, that's great. If you don't, that's even better. But you do need to expertise her, so get her to a 5-5-5-5 because you will be using her as secondary. You will be using your Cao Cao. A 5-5-5 Cao Cao is fine, or a 5-5 Cao Cao is fine, because you can use a Belisarius over your Cao Cao. So that's why I don't waste my time. He throws a punch. But if you're a cavalry, you're gonna want to get your Genghis. So a 5-5-5 or a 5-5-1-1 Cao Cao is fine because you're gonna want to use your Genghis Khan. If you're cavalry, use the other ones. Pelagius, Baibars, and Belisarius are just as good. Pelagius and Baibars have a bigger punch than Belisarius. So that's who you're going to want to use. And like I said, for infantry, Alexander, Scipio, Bjorn, that's who you're going to be using. Your Ethelflaed, your Joan of Arc, your YSG are going to be secondary. So yeah, that's just my opinion. If you're an archer, don't waste your money on El Cid. Get your Edward, use your YSG, and use your Kusunoki and your Herman. That's who you're going to use. Make sure they're either if they're going to be primary, you want them at level 60. But you do want to get all your epics expertise. That's what you want to do, because when you pass KVK 3, you're looking for your season of conquest, and you need to save your go heads for your season of conquest commanders. So that's my opinion. You do not need to change your city civilization. Your civilization. I think doing a Germany or a China is just as fine. In fact, you could just do China up until at the end of KVK 1, then switch over to Germany when you get into the off season, and then leave it at Germany, because ultimately you'll be doing nothing but training. You do not need any of these other ones, unless well, to tell you the truth, you're free to play, so you shouldn't be doing anything. I think China, or ultimately Germany should be where you're at. Germany should be the only civilization you should be at. So that's my opinion as far as those are concerned, because you'll be training a lot of troops. And by then, for your research and your building, you have runes. So that takes care of the 5% you'll be getting on your runes. You don't need an additional 5% from civilization. It's not going to be worth money. Germany is by far the best civilization you need as a free to play, and I'll leave it at that. So we have talked about a lot what commanders you need for KVK 1 going to KVK 2 and KVK 3. Yeah, so that's it. That's all I have. That's my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt, and like I always say, well, whoever you have, whatever you're using, do the best you can with what you have. That's all I have for you today. See you later.